Hello fellow knitters, welcome to the channel. My name's Debbie and this is my little part of the internet where I relax at the end of a week and have a look at my knitting and talk about it with you all. So thank you so much for joining me. So this week I am very excited because, as you can probably see, I have a finished object, and it is always lovely, isn't it, when you get an object finish. I call it an object, but it's a lovely garment really, isn't it? A beautiful piece of knitting is finished, you've blocked it, it's dried, and it is ready for you to wear. So this is my Ankers Summer Shirt. Let's have a bit of a closer look at it. So I especially love the drape of this linen cotton mix yarn. Drop spell, I would definitely recommend to you. I'm very happy with it. I loved colour. I love the construction of this top. And I'm going to talk through it in a moment. But what I would say is I think it's a really good top for a beginner knitter to give a try to an actual garment. So as long as you can knit, you can purl, you know how to cast on, you know how to cast off, I think you should give this a go. The only bit you might come up against if you don't know how to do it is to increase in the stitch, but it's a very simple increase, which I think you can learn. There's plenty of resources as well on the internet. So let's talk about it. It is a true circular yoke, and what I'm calling it a true circular yoke. What I mean by that is there are no short rows shaping it. So the front and the back are the same. You cast on for your size, the number of stitches, and you immediately begin knitting the knit one, purl one rib for this first portion here. So it's a knit one, purl one rib, as you would for a neckline or a hemline of a garment. And there are no short rows to worry about. So as a beginner, even if you've not knitted a top-down shirt, or what I call it a shirt, t-shirt, or a top-down sweater, I think this is a great one. So you begin and do your ribbing, and the ribbing is for 10 rounds. And then you've got an increase round, followed by a simple knit round. So, you know, we'll call those the stockinette rounds if you like. You're knitting 2 rounds without purling. But what you will do is increase a stitch. Now, after you do a yarn over to increase the stitch, so quite simple. But when you come round to the following round, you need to knit that yarn over twisted so there's no hole produced. So basically, instead of just knitting into the front of the loop, you basically knit into the back of the loop, and it twists round and you do not get a hole. Now, I call it a hole, it's an eyelet really, isn't it? If you wanted to have the eyelet showing, I think that'd be all right. Lots of circular yokes that do use that increase do let the eyelet show, and it's a feature of the shirt. It's not in this pattern, but you could do it. I might do one like that myself actually. And then after that, you're just doing another panel of knit one, purl one rib. So nice and simple. It's quite simple. You can, as a beginner, I think you can get your head around it. As an advanced knitter, it's just a joy to have something simple, isn't it? I actually found this an absolute joy to knit. So then, as you can see, you've got a few of these. Depending on your size, you may have 4, you might repeat that 4 times, you might repeat that 5 times. You may even repeat it for a 6th time if you're going for an extra large size. And again, you just do the increases each time. This is wonderful. So it grows lovely. Fits the shoulders nicely. Well, for my shape it does. Obviously I can't comment on other shapes, but I loved this. Now, as you can see, I made a bit of a modification because it wouldn't be me, would it, if I didn't change something. And I just thought, what would it be like if I put a stripe in? We've changed the colour when we were increasing and stocking on those 2 stockinette rows. So I went for it. It's actually a cream, but it's looking really white, isn't it, against this beautiful blue. We'll talk about the yarn in a moment. But yeah, I quite liked it. So I've got quite a nice sort of nautical theme top for the summer, I think. And it goes lovely with jeans. It goes lovely with my jean skirt. I've got like a khaki jean skirt, which I picked up thrifting, by the way, and it looks wonderful with that. I do love going around the charity shops here in the UK, the thrift shops, and you might know that as the Goodwill. you can find some real bargains. And it goes really lovely with a khaki cotton skirt that I found. It's almost like a jean. It's not quite a jean, but it's a heavy cotton. I can even wear that in the winter with woolly tights, you know, with your woolen tights. Beautiful. But anyway, I digress. Back to this beautiful shirt. So then when you've finished all of the increases, you are going to do a little bit of a raglan shaping. So you will divide your work with markers for the two sides of the sleeves, and then you'll come to those and you'll do a little raglan increase each side. Now I think there's only about 3 or 4 that you need to do, depending on your size. It might be a little bit more. And then you're pretty much splitting for your body and sleeves. So then you put the sleeve stitches on hold, and just the body is then stockinette. So it's beautiful, you know, especially if it is a lovely day, you're sitting outside. You just need that mindless stockinette. So you just carry on down until you got to the size that you want. I've done mine fairly cropped because I find with tees, I like them to be cropped. It suits my shape better to cut across the tummy, not go over the tummy and let it all cling, if you know what I mean. That's not what suits me. But obviously you can do whatever you like. I cropped mine. I think I went for the length that is actually called for. And then of course you just do another ribbon at the bottom. You're doing it 1 purl 1 for another 10 rows. So all the ribbon is 10 rounds, 10 rounds, which is great. So it's all very uniform and I loved it. Now, shall we talk about Drop Spell? I loved the yarn Drop Spell. This is my first time using it. It's a cotton linen viscose mix and it just drapes beautifully. It does not feel heavy. It's very light and airy. It's perfect for summer knits. It really is perfect. I will be using it again at some point. So I would recommend this, and it's very affordable. Sometimes it goes on sale even, and you can get it for a ridiculous amount, like £2 a ball. So this whole top cost me £15. I'll try and see what that is in the other currencies and put this on the screen for you. But that's a very, very cheap hand knit. And it's a beautiful yarn. I like their other colours too. This is called Dark Jeans Blue. And I think it's more of a mid blue, but you know, we'll let them call it whatever they like. It blocks out beautifully. I can just see me wearing this a lot. It's a really lovely yarn. I enjoy knitting with it. There's only one downside, I think, and it's not even too much of a downside, but it was a little bit splitty. So because it is a mixture of those different elements, it can split a little bit if you just like, you know, you can mindlessly knit, but sometimes you think, oh, and it's pulled. So you do have to be aware that you might be splitting that yarn a little bit. So if that doesn't bother you, and it didn't really bother me, then I recommend this. I think it's perfect. Hello, Editing Debbie here. I'm sorry I forgot to talk about the sleeves. I didn't do the called for decreases on mine. I just knit them down a couple of inches and then did, of course, the 10 rounds of ribbon and cast off loosely. So I've just realised that I'm blending in with my chair today, aren't I? How great is that? Do you think I like blue? The wall's blue, my chair's blue. I'm having a bit of a blue phase, I think, at the moment, but let's forgive me for that one. I want to share something else with you. So I think I shared my jars of scrap yarn with you last week. So I thought, yeah, I need to start digging into this now. I want to start working on some of my stash. So I got them all out, divided them into like 4-ply and DK, and I had quite a few little 4-ply balls. So I decided, I'll put a picture here actually anyway, to knit the Italian Summer Scarf, which I think I showed in the last video. It's by an Italian knitter. It's a free download from Ravelry, so thank you so much to her for that. And it's a nice scarf. So I've started, here we are. It's a simple garter stitch, a built-in eye-cord edge with the eyelet pattern going through it. So what I've decided to do is double the 4-ply yarns I've got and marl them. So you hold 2 different colours together and that becomes a marl. So hopefully you can see this. I started with like a beige and a very light green. I went into that light green and a darker green. A lot of greens in there actually, so I must have been having a green phase then. That went into like a mauve and a green. And then that's gone into like a darker green and a purple. And it's coming out very nicely. There's my right side with my little marker on it. Now, the only thing with this is, of course, I get a lot of ends that I weave in, but I'm weaving them in as I go, so I've got a few there to do. And I think it's coming out really nicely. So I am going to use all of those little balls, and I've got some others actually that weren't even in the jar. They're a little bit bigger, but I'm going to use those too. And I'm going to make this quite long because I can see me wearing this any time of the year. You know, it's a DK weight now, and if it's long, and I can wrap it round a couple of times, I'm not sure how long I'm going to do before I run out of those yarns, but yes, I'm liking that. As you know, if you saw last week's video, I made the body scarf and the Clyde scarf by Isabel Kramer, and I just got into mini scarf love. Now, I'm not sure this is a mini scarf, but it is. I like the tip-to-tip constructions that are here at the moment. So I'm going to make this quite a bit deeper and quite a bit longer. I'm going for minimum 70 inches. That's what I like on a scarf, to really wrap it round. So yes, I'm having fun with that, and who knows what colours will end up in that. Now it started green, mauve, green, purple. I do have some blue, so it'll probably go on to blue. And I've got bits of like rusty colours as well, like autumn colours, so that's probably going to come into that as well. And I keep that in my lovely little yarn bowl that I like. So I'm enjoying that. Now the only other thing on my needles is my Springerle. This was my New Year cast on, but it went on hold for a bit. I've shown you it before. But look, I've got right down, guys, through the ribbing. So I'm very happy about that. So I'm, I'll say halfway through the ribbing, the knit 2, purl 2 ribbing, and I think it's coming out really beautifully. It's going to need a good blocking. It's going to need a good blocking because it's been a bit crunched up in my knitting basket. It's not in a project bag. Look, I've just got it in a basket, so it's a little bit, but you know, it needs a good blocking anyway. So yeah, that's coming along nicely, isn't it? I'll soon be on Sleeve Island with that one. And so when I was knitting the Italian summer scarf, that made me think about stash busting, as I'm busting those little scraps that I've got. So I thought, let's have a look in my stash. I've not looked for a little while, and I might have to do a whole video on that. There's quite a bit there, and it is actually a good practice for me to know what's there, because this came up, this worsted weight yarn by Cascade. It's a heather yarn. It's actually Cascade heathers, and as you can see, it's in this lovely lavender colour, and I've got about 3 skeins of this, so I thought, right, this needs to be used. So I had a look at my Ravelry favourites, and I decided I'm going to knit the Vilma top, so I'll put a picture of it here. So here is a close-up of the Vilma top. It's a lovely vest top with buttons, an eyelet pattern, and I think it's looking great. All these different projects I thought would deserve a closer look. They're wonderful, aren't they? Now, I always loved this vest, and it's knit in a worsted weight, but for me, that's not summer. I know it doesn't have sleeves, but I don't think for me I would wear a worsted weight in summer. Perhaps if you had a worsted weight cotton. Oh, I need to talk about cotton with you in a minute, but we'll come back to that. But even then, that's a bit heavy for me for summer. And I know not everybody lives in very hot places, and I don't, but even so. But what I would like to do is knit it in this beautiful colour, and it is going to be a lovely autumn layer piece for me. It's going to be a lovely vest to go over long sleeve t-shirts in those transition periods, and even in spring days when it's quite chilly. It can be quite chilly in the UK. It can be quite chilly on a summer day sometimes, but however, I see me knitting this and wearing it as a transition piece or a layering piece. I mean, it'd be beautiful over a long sleeve t-shirt and then a nice jacket over the top even. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Now, I've had a look through Ravelry, through the projects, and people say that the sizing is quite big. Now, I think the intention is that it's supposed to be an oversized piece, but I'm going to go for a little bit of positive ease, not massively, but enough that I can wear it as a vest over other things. So I think I'm going to go for the size 5. Now, lately, they have added a couple of extra sizes on to this pattern. I purchased the pattern and then I immediately got an update actually, because it's very popular now. And the designer has added on another couple of extra sizes. So that's good. So it's going to be really size inclusive now. So I'm looking forward to that. A little eyelet lace pattern, because I want to do something lace soon, and I've gotten out of the habit of knitting lace. So this will be a little, like, you know, dipping your toe in the water, get those little patternings going. But yeah, I think it'll be a quick knit, and I think it'll be a great addition to my wardrobe, because that's always the thing as well, isn't it? Sometimes you think, well, I love the look of that, but I've already got 3 that, you know, look quite similar. So yes, I think it will be a great addition to my wardrobe. So yes, I was going to talk about cotton, wasn't I? Now, a couple of videos ago, I think I mentioned possibly knitting a bag. I do have quite a little bit of DK cotton yarn that I picked up. Started to make a top with it, but frogged it. It didn't really work. And I thought, okay, perhaps it will work as a bag. And I was going to go for the Weekend bag, the Weekend Tote, sorry, by Purl Soho. And that is a lovely free pattern. So I do, if you're interested in a bag, I would get onto that site and have a look. They've got a few bags actually, and they're free patterns, which is always a good thing. I don't mind buying a pattern by any means, but you want to have a little freebie now and again. It's quite nice. It's quite costly. So let's be honest, this is a beautiful project, but it does cost. So if you can get some cheaper yarn like the drop spell from time to time, and you can get a free pattern from time to time, I think that's a good thing. You know, that will help us knitters out, I think. So yes, the Weekend Tote by Purl Soho. Now, I actually cast on for it, started knitting with it, but I'll be honest with you, there's nothing wrong with the pattern. I think the pattern's great, but I don't want to knit with cotton. It's just not for me. It hurts my hands, guys. I don't like the feel of it. It's got no elasticity whatsoever, and it's just not for me. So I am going to be giving my cotton yarn away. I'm going to give it to the charity shop so they can sell it to someone who does enjoy knitting with cotton. I'm sure people do. And we all have different tastes, don't we? But for me, no, it's just hurt my hand, hurt my shoulders a bit. So I just stopped. I thought, no, I don't want to do something I don't enjoy. This is my hobby, which I want to enjoy. So I've put that to one side. Now, I do love the bag though, and I do still want to knit it. It's still in my favourites, but I might get a different yarn for that. Maybe a really woolly wool, you know, a tough woolly wool that we can use for that. So yeah, I might come back to that later on in the year. So that was my adventures in cotton. So guys, I think that's it for me this week. Thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it when you watch. Thank you for your lovely comments that come in. It really makes me feel supported. I do feel supported when I read them. It's great to know you're there, and hello to all of you. Thank you so much. But I am going to wrap it up now. I think that's this week's video done. And I look forward to casting on. I will be casting on the Vilma top. So next time I see you, I'll have hopefully a little bit of progress on that one, and we can talk through that. But whatever you're knitting at the moment, I hope you're enjoying it 100%, and I'll see you next time. you.